Hello, it looks like there are people out there. Can you hear me? Yay, okay. This is a lot different from Zoom, and the functionality is different. So I've had to make a quick adaptation of this workshop because it's very interactive, and I'm used to having people who could talk back to me. So if you'd like to say something, you can do whatever it is you need to do to unmute yourself. But what I'm going to do today is we're going to walk through this technique that I've developed for plotting a mystery. And you can use this whether you're a plotter or a pantser. If you're a plotter, you can do everything that we're going to do today ahead of time before you start writing, so you have all your ducks in a row and you know everything that you need to know. And if you're a pantser, you can do it as you go along. You know, as you think of things, you can put them into the book. And then if you're having trouble, you can look back here and look and see what you're missing. You maybe don't have enough suspects or something's wrong. This will help you figure out what's right and what's wrong and how to do it. So you can use it either way. And this is a completely interactive one. You guys are going to do all the work. And usually people just call out stuff. But that's obviously not going to work here. So I'm going to ask you to put your ideas in the chat, and I will try to keep up with you. So first of all, we're going to pick a time and a place for our mystery, our setting. And I'm going to make an executive decision and make it a present time setting. As you might know, I have 2 mystery series, and I've published 29 historical mysteries, and they're all set back in the early 20th century or the late 19th century. But because none of us are, not everybody is an expert on every time period, I'm going to just arbitrarily say it's modern day, because we all are experts on modern day. So we'll set it in modern day. And let's pick a place for our mystery. Where are we going to set it? Give me some ideas of what you think. We'll throw out 3 or 4, and then we'll look at them and examine them and see which ones would work best. So where would you like to set your mystery? Don't be shy. There are no wrong answers. If you want to turn on your audio, feel perfectly free. Greensburg, PA. Okay, let me just... I have one rule. The rule is it cannot be set at a small Catholic college on a big hill in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. So anywhere else. Anywhere else. I did that once, and it went south very fast. Okay, Paris, France. That's a good one. Other ideas? A writers' conference. Where, though? Halifax, Nova Scotia. You guys are really into these foreign settings. All right. Where else? Other ideas. Atlantic City. That's a good one. Come on. San Antonio, Texas. Okay. All right. That'll give us enough to get started with. All right. Let's look at our list here. And if I tell you that your location, your setting, if you're going to be writing a mystery series, one of the criteria that you should use when picking a setting for your series is that there's a constant source of fresh meat, literally people to be murdered. If you pick a small town like, let's say, Cabot Cove, Maine, where Angela Lansbury has her Miss Marple, not Miss Marple, but I can't think of what her name is. Anyway, where the Murder She Wrote thing, where everybody in the town gets killed one by one, slowly but surely. So if you're going to have a long-running series, you're going to use up all the people in the town. It's going to be very awkward. So you need to pick a place that's big enough that murder after murder will be an acceptable thing that you can deal with. So is Paris, France a good one? I think so. Definitely. Any big city is always a good source of fresh meat. Halifax, Nova Scotia. What do you think? I don't know how big Halifax is. I've heard of it, mainly because it's been in the news for it's in the news at 9/11. I think they took in a bunch of people who couldn't come to America. So I'm gonna think that it's maybe not such a good choice because it might not be big enough. I could be wrong about that. But if it's not very big, then it's probably not a good choice. Atlantic City would be an excellent choice. It's not particularly big in and of itself, but it has a whole bunch of strangers coming through constantly, and they're usually up to no good. So you have a great source of fresh meat there in Atlantic City. And San Antonio is one of my favorite cities in the country, also, which unfortunately sadly has a very high crime rate. And it's a good sized town, and it also has a fresh supply of tourists coming through all the time. So really probably all four of these would be an excellent choice. Halifax maybe as the least good, but as I say, I don't know that much about it, so maybe it's an excellent choice too. So I'm just going to arbitrarily pick Atlantic City just because I think it's going to be easy to deal with. So we'll pick Atlantic City, modern day Atlantic City, as our setting. All right. So in the beginning, your story is going to break down into the three important parts. You have your victim, you have your sleuth, that's the person that's the detective that solves the case, maybe an amateur person or maybe a professional in some way. And the other is the suspects. And one of them is going to be the killer, but you have to have more than one suspect in order to fool the reader. And so they won't guess too easily who the killer is. So that being the all right, so let's talk about, you can start with any of these, but for the sake of argument, we'll start with the victim. Who's the victim? Who gets killed? It can be anybody. It's Atlantic City. Think about who's there. The mayor. Oh, okay. A good male. Let's be a little more specific. A good male mayor. How about that? All right. All right. The mayor is killed. What's his name? And how was he murdered? Cause of death. Killed by a knife. Aha. Okay. Food allergy. All right. Let's see what else. He was giving a speech and was assassinated. Ooh. All right. Yeah. Okay. He was giving a speech. He was assassinated. How was he killed, though? Maybe. Usually that would be a gun, I would expect. Probably. Poison dart. Oh, okay. Yes. All right. I think we have a winner here. Okay. He was giving a speech and killed with a poison dart. Wow. Okay. I love this. All right. I'm going to pause here for a little teaching moment here. These are all good ideas. You guys, of course, I would have expected this from this group, that you would come up with really cool ideas. And so they're all good ideas. And the mistake that a lot of writers make is they come up with a good idea and they start writing. Instead of giving your idea a chance to mellow and ferment and become a great idea. So the assassination was really cool. Having him be shot with a gun would be fine. But the poison dart is just sort of that extra little zing that makes it a much more interesting, and it turns a good idea into a great idea. So give your ideas time to gel a little bit. Think about them and see if you can turn that good idea into a great idea. All right, so we got the mayor. We didn't come up with a name for the mayor. What's the mayor's name? Well, to save time, I'm just going to name him Fred, I think. Fred Flintstone. Okay, so Fred is dead. All right. So once you have your victim, that's why I always start with the victim, because it's once you know who the victim is, it's a little easier to figure out who the suspects are. And so you want to think about who wants this person dead, and why they might want this person dead. How many suspects do you need? There's actually a sweet spot of number of suspects that you need. You should have at least 4. The reason you need a minimum of 4 is because about halfway through your book, you're going to kill one of them as a second murder. And when you do, that person is probably at that point in the book going to be the person that the detective is almost positive is the killer. So if he thinks he's ready to like announce to the police or tell whoever that this person did it, I'm pretty sure, and then that person turns up dead, and so the detective has to stop and go back and look at all the evidence again and reevaluate and try to figure out what he missed the first time around. So you're going to kill off one of your suspects halfway through the book. And if you only have 3 or 2 suspects and you kill one of them, if you only have 2, then you kill one. It's obvious the other one is the killer. But even if you have 3 suspects and you kill one of them, then it makes it really too easy for the reader to guess if there's only 2 suspects left. So you don't want to make it too easy for the reader. So you need at least 4. So when one of them gets killed off, there's still 3 good, solid, viable suspects left alive. And you don't want to have more than 7, because the human brain can only remember 7 things. This is why phone numbers are 7 numbers long. We can remember up to 7 things, and then after that, our brain just say, no more. We're not remembering anymore. So if you watch the And Then There Were None, the Agatha Christie And Then There Were None, they did a mini series of it not too long ago, and it was like so cool. It was beautifully done, but there were 10, and the whole premise of this is there are 10 people on this deserted island, and one by one they get murdered. And obviously one of them must be the killer, so you're trying to figure out who it is, and then you're pretty sure it's this person, and then they end up dead. And so one by one they all get picked off. But my husband and I were watching it, and we're like, wait a minute, is he the ship's captain? We could not keep them straight. There were just too many suspects, and we could see them. So if you've ever been reading a mystery and had to like make a list of all the suspects to keep them straight because there were too many of them, that's when there were too many of them. So you want to have somewhere between 4 and 7 suspects. Personally, I always aim for 5, because if one of them turns out to be a dud and is not really as strong of a suspect as I would like when I'm writing the book, then I still have 4 solid good ones. And if I have 5 and one of them ends up to be married and maybe the spouse has an equally good reason for being the killer, then I end up with 6 suspects. So I'm not going over 7. I'm still in that sweet spot. So that's why I like to go with 5. But anywhere between 4 and 7 is what you want to aim for. And each of these suspects is going to have a story, their own backstory, their own front story. And each suspect needs to have a motive, a reason why, a good, strong reason why they want that person dead. They need an opportunity. That means that either they don't have an alibi. It means basically they could have done it. As far as the detective is able to determine, they could have done it. They could have done it because either they are the killer. That one of them is the killer, so they could have done it, obviously. The others either have no alibi. They were home in bed, or they were watching TV, or doing something. Nobody else saw them, so they don't really have a substantiated alibi. Or they do have an alibi, but it's so embarrassing that they can't say it. Like maybe one of the suspects is having an affair with the wife of the chief of police, and he can't very well say he was with her that night. So, without getting in a lot of trouble. So he can't. He says, I was home in bed alone, and so he doesn't really have an alibi, even though he has a good solid alibi with a witness, but he can't use it. So for some reason, each one of these people must have had an opportunity to commit the murder, at least as far as the detective knows. And then finally, they also have a guilty secret. Now, this guilty secret can be something to do with the murder, maybe their relationship with the killer, maybe they're the killer, maybe they're the victim's illegitimate child or something like that. Nobody knows it. Or it could be something completely unrelated to the crime, like they're having an affair with the police chief's wife, that they're too embarrassed or cannot, for whatever reason, reveal. So whatever, their guilty secret makes them look and act guilty. So you guys are great. You're already coming up with some possible suspects here. So let me switch to the okay. So who are our suspects? Let me look at this chat here and see. His wife found out he was cheating with his assistant. All right, so one of the suspects will be the wife. Found out he was cheating with his assistant. What's the wife's name? Need to come up with a good wife's name here. His bodyguard dislikes being treated like trash. Okay. Oops. The mayor is involved in a criminal white-collar project like construction of the high-rise condos. Okay, so who would be the killer in that case? That's a good one, but we need a person. His son, also in politics, gets his dad out of the way and counts on people's response to win mayor next year. Okay, that's probably not. I'm not seeing that as a motive to murder. Would he kill his father just to get sympathy? That seems a little a bridge too far. So let's think about that one. His son could be certainly one of the suspects, but we need a better reason than that, or at least maybe the son is involved with the construction of the high-rise condos. Maybe somebody's come up with something later here. We'll put that on hold. If you think of something, put it in the chat. The wife's lover, who is also his political opponent. I like that. However, if the wife is having an affair, why does she care that the mayor's having an affair? So there's that. We need to answer that question. The daughter he sexually abused for years. Gloria is the wife's name. You're right, it is. What's the bodyguard's name? Bodyguard's name and the son and the wife's lover, and we need some names here, folks. Daughter he sexually abused. Okay. One, two, three. So we've got 5. But let's kind of see if we got the boardwalk fortune teller who lost their business based on his political decisions. Boardwalk fortune teller. I like the boardwalk fortune teller. Let's add that person. Okay. How about because of the condo project? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 6 here, but we need to flesh out the reason why the son wants him dead. Has to be more than just to get some sympathy. The city's code officer discovered that the mayor's plans to let the public know about the building construction flaws affecting many buildings at the code. Okay. The city's code officer discovered that the mayor plans to let the public know about the building construction. Oh, okay. Sorry, didn't understand it my first reading here. Affecting many buildings at the code enforcement. Oh, okay. So the code enforcement officer is going to be in big trouble. So why don't we change the son to the code enforcement officer? That's a good one. I can't imagine why you're thinking about this. Approving faulty plans, I'll just say. So you know. All right, so okay, we've got all these people now. They each have a motive, and we're just going to assume that we're good enough writers to come up with an opportunity for each one of them. But what is their secret? Each one of them needs a secret, a guilty secret that makes them act guilty. A retired federal investigator never retires. I'm not sure why you told me that, Ellen. Although that person might be this. Oh, okay. Is that you? You're a retired federal investigator. Okay. I got it. All right. Thank you. I hate this not being able to talk back and forth. Okay. So, what would the wife's guilty secret be? She found out he's cheating with. Yeah. So we're maybe. Okay. Let's look at the. All right. What is the wife's guilty secret? What is she keeping a secret? And is it that she's having an affair? She owes money for gambling addiction. Okay, that could work. What else have we got here? And we get a good bit of money from his death. She's having an affair with his political enemy. All right, that we've already determined. That could actually be his political opponent's guilty secret. How about let's give her one and him a different one. So, all right, she has a gambling addiction and debt, and then her lover. His guilty secret is he's having an affair. Gloria. All right. Now, why does she care if her husband's having an affair? Maybe her motive is to keep him from finding out about her gambling addiction. Mayor's wife is having an affair with the code enforcement officer. Oh. The bodyguard has a male lover and has not come out of the closet. Okay. So the bodyguard's gay. With, who did we say? Oh, we didn't say. The fortune teller is a drug dealer. Ooh. Also good. You guys are. The code enforcement officer. Who said? Are we gonna just make the code enforcement officer and the wife's lover one and the same? The fortune teller is the mailer's drug dealer. Oh, Sally, you're so smart. Okay. All right. What else have we got here? You guys are too good at this. Okay, so the wife found out he was cheating with his assistant, Gloria. She's Gloria. And she has a gambling addiction and is in debt. The bodyguard dislikes being treated like trash by Fred. He's gay and he's having an affair with someone, but we don't know who yet. The code enforcement officer is afraid of being exposed for approving faulty plans. The wife's lover. Okay, so his political opponent is... So what is if the wife's having an affair, does she really care that the husband's having an affair? I'm guessing she doesn't really. All right, the daughter he sexually abused, what is her guilty secret? She's a cutter. That is a very likely scenario, Lynn. How would that make her look guilty, though? Needs to be a guilty secret. Maybe, I guess it could. It could make her look guilty because she's trying to hide something. There's something about her. She would act very guilty because she doesn't. Daughter stole money from the company. The father found out and was going to disown her. From what company? What company did she steal money from? The family company. The building construction company. The daughter was going to go to press about the abuse, but for some reason changed her mind. Oh, okay. Why do we think she changed her mind? Ooh. Yeah. Kenya, you're right. That's a better idea. That's a great idea as opposed to a good idea. Could she be colluding with the mayor's rival? Ooh. Okay. Mayor's opponent. But why would she kill him? If she was going to collude with the mayor's opponent, obviously maybe she's holding back until the right time during the campaign to reveal her father's abuse. So why would she want him dead? The opponent screwed her over, pulled out of their deal to use the press to win, so she lashed out directly. Okay, maybe the... Okay. Okay, remember now, the political opponent is having an affair with her mom. So maybe he... the opponent decides not to reveal the abuse because mom asked him not to. She doesn't want the daughter to be exposed like that, to go through the humiliation and trauma of having it revealed. She thinks she's protecting the daughter. So the daughter, having nothing left, decides to kill him instead. Okay. Who's the bodyguard having an affair with? The daughter. I like that. Yes. Oh, wait. The bodyguard is gay. So is he gay or is he having an affair with the daughter? Or is the bodyguard a woman? Yes, I see. You figured that out too. The mayor? The bodyguard is having an affair with the mayor. Okay, the mayor likes little girls, so maybe not. Female bodyguard would explain why Fred treated her like trash. It would indeed. I think we have a winner here. Potentially. Yes, I think we have a winner. Let's there with daughter. All right. The code enforcement officer. What is his guilty secret? And remember, it doesn't have to have anything to do with any of these people. And is in the closet. It's also getting an affair with the daughter. Right. Yes. So I need to change the gender of the bodyguard here. Oh, okay. Didn't say. All right. The bodyguard's name is Amber. All right. No. So can somebody named Amber be a bodyguard? That seems like okay. Building code enforcement is part of the criminal cutbacks. I'm not sure, Elena, that I know what you mean by criminal cutbacks. He's on the take, but from who? From whom? Taking bribes from companies to say they're safe when they aren't. Yikes. Hey, you're watching me type. Don't be embarrassed. How many mistakes have I made so far? Cutting back on the construction projects that will cause building collapses. Building code enforcement. It's cutting on the construction project that will cause building collapses. So I'm not sure I understand what his secret is here. He's taking bribes from, obviously he's been approved, so he's taking bribes to approve multi projects. Oh, sorry. I got confused. All right. The wife's lover is having an affair with the boy. All right, let's think about the boardwalk fortune teller a little bit more. Have we come up with any more ideas? Okay. Okay. He's very involved with the mafia's work. The mayor discovered the code enforcement officer took bribes from the mafia to okay faulty construction. All right. Got it, Ellen. Good job. Faulty projects by the mafia. It's where there's gambling, there's mafia. We know that. Everybody knows that. Okay. So let's come up with a little more detail on the fortune teller. She lost her business because of. So if she's the mayor's drug dealer, wouldn't he have been a little more careful? Or maybe he didn't realize she was going to be losing her job. What kind of drugs is the mayor addicted to? Seems like it's where there was Atlantic City, there was the mafia. Yes, indeed. Oxy, of course. He wouldn't be addicted to anything like heroin. He would be an upper class thing like Oxy. So why is she mad at the mayor if it's the code enforcement officer or whoever? Well, I guess he's in charge of everything, so she would blame him. But why wouldn't he have been a little more careful of her? Maybe he didn't realize she'd be effective. Okay, that's good. But he refused to back down once the thing was in motion. All right. So this is good. You guys are great. All right. So next we have to figure out who is going to be our sleuth. Now, if you use a professional sleuth, you're pretty much okay. But if you're going to make this a series, which hopefully most mysteries that are not a series are usually, and are standalones, are usually noir, very dark and scary, and they're marketed as thrillers. And the reason they're marketed as thrillers is because thrillers sell more than mysteries do. They sell better than mysteries do. So if you have an exciting, scary mystery that's a standalone, they're probably marketed it as a thriller, even though it's really a mystery. But if you want to write a series, which I highly recommend, there's many good reasons to like having a series. You have a built-in audience. You have some financial security because the backlist books stay in print and keep selling. As every new book comes out, you get new fans and they buy the backlist. And so it's it makes for a very successful career if you can get a good series going. So that's one reason to think about doing a series. So let's pretend that this is going to be a series. So who would be our sleuth in Atlantic City? The mayor is killed. Who would naturally be involved? Obviously, the police are going to be involved. Do we want to make one of our sleuths an actual police officer? And then maybe a pro-am team can often work where you have somebody whose job it is to solve the crime. But then they have to rely on the assistance of an amateur because of whatever reason. and then the two of them start working together. Or maybe it's the police are going to cover it up, or they're going to, if the police blame someone who's innocent, for example, then the amateur must step in and help out. So who would be involved in solving this? His mother, the mayor's mother. Who's his mother? What does she do that she would be involved with? A dynamic female insurance investigator, a dynamic retired female federal investigator who lives in Atlantic City. The key, of course, here is if you want to make this a series, it has to be people who are going to be able to continue to solve murders. So the mayor's mother's probably going to be pretty old if his children are if the mayor's probably going to be at least in his 40s, maybe 50s, which puts the mom 70 plus. Investigative journalist assigned to report on the mayor. Ah, perfect, Anna. Good job. Because that person is going to be invested, and it's also probably going to know a lot of this stuff, or at least suspect it at this point. Yes, that's very good, Anna. Very good. And it'll have to be a cop, probably, simply because of the nature of the crime and who the victim is and where it is in Atlantic City. The cops would definitely be involved. Which one of these is male and which one of these is female? Anna, did you anticipate the both female? Oh, okay. Let's make this very interesting. All right. And the cop is female. And the cop, being a female, has a lot to prove because even today, women in predominantly male occupations are not taken seriously enough. So, all right. You guys did a great job. Now, the way you turn this into a book, when you have your list of suspects, all of the things on the list are clues. All the things, the guilty secret, the reason, the motive, and the opportunity, all of those are clues. Some of those clues are real. The ones that are clues for the real murderer are clues. And the ones that are not the real murderer, all the things that make these other people look guilty, are called red herrings. A red herring was a fish that is more actually brown than red, but it had a great fragrance. And so animal rights activists who did not approve of fox hunts would take a bag of red herring out the night before a fox hunt. And they would drag the bag of red herring across the track that the fox would run on and drag it off into the woods and create a false trail that was much more appealing to the hunting dogs than the fox was. So when the hunting dog came to this red herring trail, they would veer off into the woods and the fox would get away. So that's exactly what you want to do with your clues, is to create red herrings, um, create a red herring trail, false trails that lead the reader off into to thinking somebody else did it when it really was instead of the real killer. So all of these are clues of red herrings. So what you do is, if you're a plotter, you can make a list of all the clues, the motives, opportunities, and secrets, and then figure out what order you want to reveal them in, and then write a scene for each one to reveal and figure out how each one is going to be revealed to the sleuths. They're going to work together, they're going to work separately, and then talk about it later. How's it going to happen? So that's how you use all this information to turn it into a book. So I will now open it up for questions. You guys did a great job. This is a really good one. And I'll confess, I use these to create the murder mystery, the dinner murder mysteries that we have at the murder mystery dinner at residencies. So someday your idea will be performed live at a mystery dinner. Questions? I couldn't have told you everything you needed to know. Come on, somebody must have a question. What time are these over? No, I did not realize I might have gone over time. Shelly and Dina.
Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing.
Welcome to the club. At least I didn't photobomb somebody else's workshop.
Sorry, I'm leaving.
That's okay. Yeah, I enjoyed teaching this workshop. This is my favorite one to teach. It's much more fun in person, even on Zoom, but when you guys can talk. How many of you are out there? I don't even know. Just FYI, my chapter in the book, Many Genres, One Craft, is based on this workshop. So that's another, if you want a refresher, you can read that. It gives you, I think I give an example of a plot that somebody else came up with too. So if you want that, if you want to refer that, you can also tell your friends if they missed this one, they can get all the basic facts in that article. I'm glad you enjoyed this. It was really hard to do without that live feedback, but you guys were troopers and really good. So smart. Well, with no questions, I'll just make a few comments about your sleuths. Remembering that if you're going to have an amateur sleuth in your mystery, to yeah, it's really important to figure out why an ordinary person who does not have a job that requires them to solve murders for a living, why they would get involved with solving a murder, because in real life nobody ever does that. Um, I was trying to think of some examples where this might have happened in real life, and the closest I could come was that girl that was killed in Aruba. What was her name? Natalie Holloway. Her mom tried to get involved when the police in Aruba were not doing their job, and she did try to get involved, but they think she probably did more harm than good, and she certainly never solved her daughter's murder, and and I think she got taken by the killer for some money. He tried to extort money out of her to tell her where her daughter's body was. Um, so real people don't, as a general rule, get involved in solving murders. So you have to come up with a really solid reason for an amateur to get involved, and that's a little tricky, but readers love to see that. So you give them a good reason to believe it, they'll believe it, even though it probably would never happen in real life. So one last call for questions. Thank you all who participated. You guys were great. Had some really great ideas there. And I guess I will let you go. I think I'm probably the last one today, but there's some parties going on. So good luck. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I've got another workshop on Saturday. Maybe I'll see you there. Oh, you do another panel. Okay. Panel at 5. So, all right. So see you tomorrow. Shelley, are you in this room? Okay. I guess I better leave then.